Well, hello, everyone. I am Matt Williamson. How's everyone doing? We are back at it here in Latrobe after a Monday off. We had a good Tuesday practice, a couple things to talk about. First off, I was basically right about changes in starters and things, and Wilson are asserting themselves now that we're more than halfway basically done with camp. And Russell Wilson did a lot of time with the ones today, more than any point, in his Steeler career. That being said, I mean, he has avoided the team drills. They've kept him out of the team drills. That's the wrong way of putting it. To keep anyone from stepping on him or bumping into him or falling into him or any of that kind of stuff. But today he did more and more of that. I mean, is acting like the number one quarterback, although Fields got more than his share as well. Surprisingly, Wilson has only thrown now one pass with the ones, in team drills in camp since he's been in Latrobe. Only one. But it was in 7 shots, and it was a beaut. I mean, it was unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, I'm exaggerating. I'm sorry. But it was a really well-designed play where they had big personnel in there down by the goal line, if you haven't seen 7 shots. And they had Pickens isolated on a corner with a lot of space. He was in a condensed formation close to the ball as kind of a wing back almost, and basically threw a fade, but not your typical fade where you just throw it high and he goes up and plucks it off a guy's helmet. It was more of I'm going to throw it to space because they had all that left side of the formation, all that green grass to work with. And he threw a beautiful ball, really basically an undefensible pass touchdown. We haven't seen that here in a long time. So again, it's one pass with team in a Steeler uniform and pads in Russell Wilson's career to this point. But if that's a sign of things to come, and I'm talking the scheme, Pickens, et cetera, all those things. And of course, it was a very well thrown ball. So thought I'd give you that little update on the quarterback position, of course. Again, though, Fields is getting plenty of time with the ones, and he's getting better. I'm growing fonder and fonder of what I've seen from him without question. BetOnline is your number one source for all your summer sports this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, and many more. All the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchup, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet online, where the game starts. Now, I didn't do a podcast yesterday because they didn't practice. And frankly, I was kind of just hanging around to see if something happened with Brandon Aiyuk. It didn't. Maybe it will by the time you hear this. I don't want to talk that to death. I've talked a lot about this. I've brought it up many times. I adore the player. And I do a podcast, Peacock and Williamson. I've mentioned it before. You guys know my Steeler background, but it just so happens Peacock, my co-host, is the host of Locked On 49ers. So we've talked Aiyuk to the Steelers over and over. And we both came to the conclusion that our respective teams at this stage of the game would do the Steelers first and something like Calvin Austin as a throw-in. I'd do that all day long. And I don't want to talk this to death again. That's about where I'm at in terms of what I would pay for the player, a really good player, and then pay him on top of that. There's been some talk. I don't know if there's any truth to it. I mean, no one's told me this, but the Niners would want a player back, as mentioned, but they would want Pickens. I can't do that. That doesn't accomplish what I need to do from a Steeler perspective. I mean, it's if you'd have to do Pickens in a 2, Pickens in a 3, whatever, that's a fair trade, but then I got to go use another draft pick to go get another receiver. Aiyuk's better than Pickens. I know you guys might not believe that at this point, but he is. But he's also more expensive, and that's not even the point. I mean, the point is I need 2 starting type guys, and I can't trade one to get the other. So if that's where the conversation's at, then I have to be out. I have to go look elsewhere. Last thing I want to talk about today, which I think is big, and I kind of talked about this last time we chatted, It's along the lines of the Wilson situation where they're starting to get the right people in the right spots in terms of starters and things of that nature. So Broderick Jones today, but we know Dan Moore's a left tackle. That's the only rep he's taken since he's been here. I mean, in camp this year, he has not taken a snap anywhere but left tackle that I'm aware of. I'm almost certain that's 100% true. Jones has played both sides. But today, Jones almost exclusively played on the left. I don't think I saw any reps of him in the right. I was busy doing some other things, but I'm pretty sure he was a left tackle today. And that doesn't mean he unseated Moore as a starter, although we all know he's a better player than Moore. But they both rotated kind of like Fields and Wilson did today. You know, like there wasn't a clear, you're with the ones, I'm with the twos. But they were both left tackles today. Where does that leave us on the right side? Fautanu. He was running with the ones with the right tackles. Does that mean he is the starter? That he is the opening day right tackle? I don't know, but it's a heck of a good start. And that's exactly what I wanted to see about this time of camp. And he's really good. I mean, there was a couple plays today in team where Washington lined up next to him and they just cleared out the left side of the Steeler defense in the run game. You know, just really big, mobile human beings, Washington and Fautanu. So his protection is still, it's going to take time. I mean, any rookie is going to take time, but he's so light on his feet. He can adjust extremely well. We know that he's not the tallest tackle in the world, but he does have long arms. I have not seen extreme length give him a huge problem. You know, that's the problem with a shorter tackle is sometimes guys can win with length. I've not seen many cases of that because he does recover and move so well. He doesn't get himself in bad positions. He uses his hands really well. He's got heavy hands. He's got quick hands. He's got unbelievably quick feet. And his arm length is more than adequate. You know, it's better than his height would indicate if you didn't know that about him as a draft prospect. So I'm guessing that from this point on, the first round pick is now the starting right tackle. But we can't confirm that. I mean, who knows, tomorrow they might go right back, or when they break down the tape, they didn't like what they saw, or he blew an assignment, or, you know, we'll just test it and go back to the well tomorrow. Who knows? I mean, these things aren't just granted overnight, but I think that's coming soon and it might already be here. So sure looks like Wilson's the starting quarterback, although Fields is interesting. Don't get me wrong. Sure looks like the right tackle is grabbing a hold of the job. Center is not. Frazier has not done that yet, although I think Herbig is pretty darn impressive, and I wouldn't mind starting the season with Herbig. And we will be on call basically for Aiyuk news, and I'll react to it if he gets traded to the Patriots or the Browns or whatever. But it does sound like the Niners want a player back. We keep hearing guys like Amari Cooper, Kendrick Bourne in a high pick, you know, something like that. I get it. I mean, if you're the Niners, you got to think through their lens on this one. I'm trying to win the Super Bowl this year, and Amari Cooper would sure help me do that. But if it comes down to Pickens having to be in the deal, I can't see a deal getting done because it just doesn't, you know, grease the wheels away properly to make the Steeler team the best they possibly can be. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. Take care.